Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
This is the Female Solution, and welcome to another broadcast with Master Force with Mu Shemsu-t. I am Mu Shemsu-t, and today we're having a conversation with my dear friend, and we're talking about a month of self-love. So I'm welcoming Angela Stewart. Hello, Angie.
Hello, Mood. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am so excited to sit here.
Yes.
And let the world see how we just chat, all the time.
All the time.
But we had revealing conversations for ourselves over the past couple of months. But before we get to those, I why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll just talk about how our friendship started. So introduce yourself so they can know who you are.
Yes, I am Angela Stewart, a mother of two wonderful sons and a grandma of 5 grandbabies, right? Woo! My eldest one I love so much is 22. So it's like, yeah, so excited, but the rest are babies. Anyway, I am a hairstylist. I've been a hairstylist for 28 years. And I have a business, Alegna Beauty Spa, that I've created, and that's where I, work out of. I'm an entrepreneur by heart. And I've been doing this work with Mood forever. Really taking care of ourselves as women, loving on ourselves, and just chit-chatting, right? We've been together forever.
Yes, we have been good, and let's talk about that, because it really is. I think we realize how awesome it is the longer we're together, right?
Yes.
So we actually met Moot 40 years ago this year.
Yes. 40 years.
This year is
Wow.
40 years. I know. So I had just come to Schaumburg from Iowa to work for Carlin Shar. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, Carlin Shar. I've always resisted doing the computers, and I decided at that point that I was going to go ahead and learn computers. And so I registered in the school Carlin Shar in Schaumburg. And there I went up in the classroom, and there was Moot. And I literally just fell in love with her just by the same day I met her. And just, we were sisters from that day on. Yes.
Yes, it is so interesting. I think that's the first time people called me Miss Rita.
Yes.
Miss Rita. And I think what actually solidified our relationship was how the school ended.
Yes.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
It wasn't very good. There was just too many. It was just not legit, put it that way. And I didn't quite learn anything. And I just think that my reasoning for going there was to meet Moot. I never really thought that learning computer was why I was there. So, it didn't do much for me, but meeting Moot was just,
And you know what, do you realize, and as I was looking and framing this conversation, so we started in September, but I was literally put out of there in November. So that was
I didn't get to learn anything. I didn't go back. Right. Yes.
Yeah. And then we actually went through the steps. I remember you and a couple of the other students came and asked me, what can we do? Because you guys were still being charged for a class that didn't even turn out.
Yes. So we had to go through all the legal works to actually get that resolved and not have to pay the school.
And we closed them down. Yeah, we closed
Yes.
7 schools. It was 7 schools in total. and those people who were executive directors and directors could not be licensed to teach in Illinois anymore.
Right.
So yeah, that here I get back to the United States. I mean, get back to Illinois and back to activism.
Yes.
Mood. We went on to discover Master Force.
Yes. We started hanging out and doing all kind of spiritual work and meditation, affirmations, until
With our sons, yeah. So
with our children,
yeah.
yes.
So
We
yeah,
raised our kids together, lived together.
yeah.
Your son is my godson.
Yeah, your sons are my
Yes.
godson. And my
Yeah.
daughter is your goddaughter.
Yes, that's my only daughter. Yeah,
That's your only daughter.
yeah, I raised her pretty much.
Yeah, oh yeah, because unfortunately she did not have a mom that liked to shop. So the Angie.
I was a shopper. Yes, yes.
Wonderful. And then, Mood, I love the work that you were doing at Little City when I first met you, because it really reflects on the work that we have to do with our grandson. You know,
Yes.
so really, you want to talk about a bit about that work?
Yes, that social. So I kind of dived into the social service field, whereas I was I managed, I trained and developed, and for developmentally challenged. At the time, they called it developmentally challenged individuals in homes. So I took them out in the community, trained and developed them for jobs, and managed them while they were out there. So I did that for a long time. But what I realized was that I had two kids at home that I was not doing the same thing with. So that's when I kind of switched and saw that that wasn't what I wanted to do. I really wanted to be there for my children.
Yeah. And go ahead.
The work was very fulfilling, because I was able to help a lot of children. I was able to love on them, show them how to take care of themselves, show them how to be independent individuals out in the world. So that was very meaningful for me.
Absolutely. And I remember your demeanor. I think one of the things that I actually learned from you was your attention to detail too. When you were relating to people, when you were talking to people, you were always so good to be in their face and in their eye.
That was a little part of the training that I received there as well. And because I did it for so long, being able to train and develop people, I was able to be in their faces. Yeah.
Yes. And gently, you were, yeah. So I learned a lot about you. And I think one of the other things that I learned from you in our earlier relationship, you used to insist that I go to a party with you every now and then, because I was such an introvert. And I remember you came to pick me up, and I had on a black suit or black, like
it was just to go to the office.
You said,
where are you going with that?
Like, you can't go to a party, girl. We're going shopping. You are not going to
Yeah, but we went up in my closet, and you could fit anything in my closet anyway.
Yes. And then after that, we went thrifting. You and Teresa are good for helping me to find nice. But I had not paid attention to color, to any of that. Now I do.
Now you do.
So I thank you for that, because
welcome.
That I wore black, brown, navy, and maroon.
Oh, wow.
All office colors. And I had my little white shirts, my little blue shirts, my little pink shirts.
And you thought it had to go good on, Mu.
Yeah, no.
But
right.
You look good for the office, yeah.
Yes, but going to a party was not the office.
Right.
So, good. So now let's talk about the challenges that we have had about the conversation of self-love. So because we want to get to, another level of self-love, let's kind of talk about the challenges that we've had with our own self-love. Do you want to give some examples of that, of how you were, first of all, able to identify that you weren't loving yourself and where that came from?
Yes, a lot of it was in relationships, choosing the appropriate partner, which I wasn't doing, spending more time with myself, which I wasn't doing. I was just so external out there, not really paying attention to what was going on within myself. So yes, I did not show up as loving myself. Yeah.
I want to say too that when we find ourselves so external, some of those things occur as though we're taking care of other people, right?
Yes.
So it looked like, oh, you're a good person because you're looking out for everybody else. But really, what's happening?
You took away, yeah, you gave so much to others that you depleted your own self. I wasn't, the, and it looks like I was taking care of myself, but internally I was being so external about it, taking care of everybody else, that I was just so drained. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
drained you.
yeah. And I remember too not knowing what self-care was. Like I could think that self-care was getting my nails done, getting a pedicure, getting my hair done. All of that sounds like self-care, but that's really looking good, isn't it? It's like it's still external.
Yes, yes. Being a hairstylist, I do that, right? Take care of everyone else. And I would talk about self-love to them, but really, I never really paid attention to, was I doing that for myself?
Mhm.
So, yeah, uh, those
Now,
things
did you
are.
grow up? Did you grow up in a loving environment? Did people give you?
No, no. I don't know what that it was. To be quite honest, I've been looking at that, and I noticed that I really never had a mother, even though she was around. She was not really my really a loving mother. My dad, I don't ever recall my dad really hugging me and saying, "I love you, Angie," or giving me a kiss. So when I started doing the whole journey of self-love, those things showed up for me.
Mhm.
Yes, mom wasn't available, dad wasn't available, feeling lack of self-worth, abandonment, all those things started showing up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, all of those things, and it's so interesting because I prior to meeting you, I had read a lot of self-help books and did workshops and stuff, and I thought that I had really got that handled, and it wasn't until I went to Landmark.
Yes.
Remember that? Yeah, we went to
Yes.
Landmark that I realized that I had abandonment issues,
Yes.
self-worth issues, and um, really that whole strong black woman syndrome was deep.
It was very deep. Yeah. And that showed up for me too. Landmark was very enlightening. It really had me, whenever there was anything going on in my life, just taking a class or taking a course
Yes,
actually helped you work it through.
absolutely.
I was able to do that, and it was thanks to you, Moo. Once you told me about it, I was like, I'm done. Yes, I'm in. You
Yeah,
know.
we did Landmark, and then we had our children do Landmark, and then we did the
Yes,
leadership
yes,
training.
yes,
Then we did the volunteering. Yeah, we're still pretty committed to the work of Landmark. Yeah,
yes, we are.
it really is great. And then, so I think in Landmark Mood is when the first time that I did the forum,
Mhm.
and I think I probably told you, I cried so hard doing that forum, but my head was on my lap. And
Wow.
I realized that, and then snot people passing tissues, and I was there with Heru. Remember, we were
Mhm,
engaged at
mhm.
the time, but he was not, they didn't let you sit next to people that you were with.
You were with, yeah.
But I realized inside I was ashamed to let people see me cry. I was ashamed. And so I'm sitting there, I don't even know what they were talking about on stage, but in my head, I was trying to figure out why when I sit up, I was ashamed to
To
let
let
people.
people see you be vulnerable.
Yes, and that's
Yes.
the access that I got. I realized that being vulnerable can have an access to
Yes.
something else, whereas being strong can be a weakness.
Yes.
And that was my break. If I didn't have no other breakthrough, that was the breakthrough I got the first time I did the landmark forum. And I just realized that, I mean, later it became that I didn't know how to rely on people, but thanks to you and the tribe that the universe gave me,
We accessed all of that. We
we
were able
accessed
to
all of
access
that.
all of that. Yes.
Even through Osara set, we went deeper into our spiritual training there, but we realized that we were really doing the work, which was different from what some other people were doing. So yeah, you remember that?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So good. So now, if you could say that learning to love yourself was probably the biggest challenge that you had, right? Would you say that that was one of the biggest challenges, or?
Yes, yes, because I didn't know what that was. I wasn't being loved by anybody else. I wasn't shown love as a child. So,
But
um,
then how did you show up in relationships? Were you loving in your relationships?
I think I was, but I was giving so much of myself to that relationship that it depleted me, as I said. And by the time I realized, and you give so much, it's like you really don't know who you are. You don't know who yourself.
Mm.
You don't know who you are. That when it's time for you to do anything, it's almost like you conferring with that person before you do what you got to do. So I think it took away a lot from, who I was.
Yeah. So now if we actually go into a relationship, right, not knowing who we are, and then we give all of ourselves inside of that relationship, do you think that we're relating to someone that knows that they know themselves? You think
No,
the people that we were, yeah.
no, no. They were just pulling from you, actually. They pulled so much from you that it goes back to depleting yourself again. So no, I don't think that they knew who they was.
Yeah. So the onus and the responsibility still goes back to each individual person,
Exactly. Yes.
and then we can't even blame our parents, because I don't think our parents knew anything about self-love.
No, that took me down that path too, to find out what their life was.
Yeah.
And so once I was able to do that, I could then have some empathy to my mom and my dad around how they were with me. And so I once I knew that, then I knew now I did not want to put that on my children. You know what I mean? Yes.
Yes. Yes, you don't want to. And I think that's why we have consistently stayed with this work. I think once we realized that there were some things that we could, you know, save our children from, although we couldn't, can we? We can't
No,
really.
no, no, we couldn't. But at least you could give them a foundation,
Yeah.
and yeah, and as much love as you could possibly give them, and show them what self-love is.
Yeah.
Taking care of themselves, and just learning as much, growing and developing themselves. Then they stand a chance.
They stand
Yeah,
a chance. And then every time we learned something, we shared it with
we
them.
share it with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we weren't the gatekeepers. We weren't the kind of people that said, "Oh no, our children can't." No,
no.
we shared everything with them. So now, if you think back, what was the thing that made a difference for you realizing, okay, wait a minute, I got to stop and take care of myself? This latest thing, what moved you into the place now where you can clearly see that self-love is something that you actually need to do?
Um, just recently, I've had so many challenges, with not even so much male relationship, but just friendship on a whole with females, and just being able and giving so much of myself, doing, that I realized that my life, I just don't have a life. I don't have a say. There was no boundaries. There was no, nowhere to grow. I was just being smothered. And so, when I saw those things happening in my life, I just decided, it's time for me to just look. So what I did was I created a space. I just got out of certain relationships and started spending more time with myself. I started doing therapy, and started really looking deep within myself to see what's there. Why am I, allowing others to really be in my life in such a way that I'm not able to take care of myself, or I'm being depressed, or I'm being having anxieties, or having those things happening. So therapy helps. I decided to dive into therapy. I decided to doing a lot of self-love, which is, setting up boundaries, number one, setting up boundaries, getting those alone times so I can start meditating, affirming myself, reaching out to people who I know that can support me in the growth or the direction that I want to go in, meditating with them on a regular basis, like you, Moot. Because I know that when I used to do that back in the days, that that helped, that worked, and I was able to manifest the things that I wanted. And so yeah, once I got away from those relationships that weren't working for me, and that was pulling so much energy from me, it freed me up to do the things that I wanted to do. Yeah.
So now and I love how you're talking, and we'll talk more about what self-love looks like at the second half of the show. But when you started making changes, when you saw that there were things that you needed to do, that how did the people around you respond? Did they want you making those changes? How did
No, they did not.
what
No.
was some of the
Chaos showed up,
yeah.
just so much chaos. Oh my goodness. It got so bad that I literally, because I wasn't doing the things that they wanted me to do, or being the way they wanted me to be. And I found the word no, and I found that's not what I want to do. It showed up. They just got upset with me. I was fired. I was outcast. People started literally meeting me in parking lots and want to fight me because I'm standing up for myself. So
What people were isn't it something? So it's
yes,
almost like chaos
chaos showed
is
up.
the indication that something is like first of all, you've come to a like a demarcation, right? This is not, I'm not doing this anymore. And as soon as you say that, here's the chaos.
Chaos. But what I realized throughout my lifetime is that when that shows up, it's there's going to be breakthroughs.
Yeah.
So I did not take it as I didn't take it as, oh my God, and just freak out and get anxiety around it or anything. I just took it in stride. I accepted it all. I took responsibility for whatever there was that I needed to take responsibility for. I acknowledged it all, and I just moved into it. I embraced it and just went all into it, and created what I wanted instead of looking at the chaos. Because the moment I started looking at the chaos, that's what I'm gonna get. So I looked at what it is that I wanted. I wrote it down and followed it to the T with what it is that I wanted. I wanted to create a space where I can love on myself. I can create the life that I want to live. Can be freed up to be who I want to be, and to really nurture myself. that was what I really wanted to create, a space that I could really love and nurture myself. And I did create that.
Mhm.
Yes, I
That's
did,
right.
yes.
And
And it
you know
showed
what?
up. It showed up.
That's right. It shows up. You pointing to something though that really, when we talk about initiations, like we have spiritual initiations, and we forget that our life, that we're spiritual beings
Yes.
having a human experience, right? So the universe is going to put things in our path, challenges and obstacles and things for us to get through so that we can develop our character, so we can develop our commitment and our faith. And people,
Yes.
oh, I can't manifest. Well, the reason is because you haven't did that work. If you're still talking like that, yeah, you haven't secured your source. You haven't hooked up to God. You haven't got
Yes.
connection into it.
Yes. Yes.
Because as soon as you do that, you understand that your language is your spell casting.
Yes. The moment you say it, the moment you speak it, the moment you put it out there, that's what shows up.
That's
Yes.
what shows
Yes.
up. And people say, yeah, but this did happen to me. Yeah, it did. And it'll probably happen again if you keep focusing on it,
Yes.
because what you focus on increases.
Yes.
So I like how you said, even though things were coming up, you stayed looking at what do I want?
What do I want? Yes. And
And you
create
wrote it
that.
down.
Yes, I wrote it down. I made a vision board. It's on every mirror in my bathroom. So the moment I woke up and look in my bathroom or looking, it was just right next to my bed, just so I would not forget and go down the path of looking at what's happening around me at that moment. I just stayed in the space of that's not what I want, and that's not what I'm going to focus on. This is what I'm focusing on. Yes.
That is really strong leadership training, Moot, because many of us think that we can complain the issue away,
It doesn't.
or that somebody's going to save us if we complain to the right person.
Right. I know.
And that just is not going to happen.
I have friends right now who, every time I get on the phone with them, it's all this complain, this complain, this complain, and it gets to a point where it impedes on who I'm being. You feel the energy, and you just don't want to entertain it anymore. So it's either I just get off the phone, or I just say, listen, this is not what I'm doing right now. So can we do this? Can we talk about what it is that you really want?
Yes.
Where are you going with your life? And it shifts. It shifts. Yeah.
And I think that's why we are each other's mirrors,
Mhm.
right? Because if it's showing up in our space and we're still allowing it,
Mhm.
that means that we haven't set those boundaries strong enough
Right.
that people think that they can come and dump.
Yes. Yes.
That's not appropriate behavior. But it also shows, Mood, why people tend to move away as you grow, as you ascend and get stronger and transcend. People just fade away, don't they?
Yes, and there's one thing that you said that would relate to that is that they do show up in your life for a reason,
Yeah.
And once you are able to assess that reason, then they either become friends or they just move out the way for other lessons for you to learn to show up. So once I see it like that, there's no resentment or hurt or pain or anything around that. I was like, okay, that's the lesson I need to learn, or I needed to learn, and make sure, look at the lesson and accept the lesson and have the lesson implemented in your life so it doesn't show up again.
Absolutely. And you know what? 40 years of friendship, I don't know if we ever did anything wrong to each other, but I do know that we forgive, and keep it moving.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't ever remember, and that's what we do. That any
Yeah.
long-term relationships have to have forgiveness and grace.
Constantly.
Nobody's going to be perfect, and nobody's going to live up to your standards or anyone's standards.
Right, 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 right.
So
Yeah,
we have to. Now we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to use our last 30 minutes to actually lay out what it looks like to have the rest of this month, February. We're going to do February as the month of self-love. So
that's
we'll
right.
be right back and we're going to lay it out for you after we listen to this.
Okay.
Everything we're made of contains light. From the sun that feeds our world to the energy that flows within us. With LifeWave X39, we've found a way to put that light to work. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality. By gently stimulating the skin with light, our non-invasive, non-transdermal X39 patches help you conquer your active lifestyle and pave a new way to vibrant health.
Thank you, and thank you, Lightwave,
Yes.
for rising with us. So now we're going to talk about what it looks like to actually do, right? So we're already into we are day 5, right? Because, but however, I want to point out that you and I have been meditating every morning now, with the exception for Thursday mornings and a few other couple of days. We've been for about the last 4 months.
Yes.
And we've seen some tremendous breakthroughs in our own life and our health. So we're going to suggest that everybody at least start meditating.
Yes. Yes. Visualizing and meditating, having intentions and having that manifest.
Well, then let's start with the basics though. So meditation, right? So if we're meditating, and one of the things that we do is we just do a 10-minute meditation together, but you meditate by yourself and I meditate by myself, sometimes before, sometimes after. What is the difference that you see in your life from meditation?
I'm more focused. I'm more at peace.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to meditation is a way for me to obtain the things that I want in my life, which I knew that all along. You and I have talked about that all along. And yes, we do it and we don't, right? But you have always been consistent about it. That's one thing I have to say. I've noticed that whenever I dive into it fully, consistently, lots of things show up for me. So much show up for me. And because I know about it and I've done the work around it, and yes, it's in my life to some degree, I see a lot of manifestations that happen without me even putting so much effort into it, because we're just so connected into it. So yes, I can say things and it just show up, because I stay positive. I state what I want, and I'm convicted with it. And I visualize it all the time. And I have things around my house that actually keep me present to my goals of what it is that I want to manifest in my life. And so, yes, it shows up. But I think that if you really want to harness that, there's so many ways that can do it, and that's one of the things that you and I have been talking about lately. Yeah.
It's like really making sure, because it's so simple, we think that if you spend a lot of money on something, that's going to give you the greatest asset to something. However, we have the creator of the universe who has provided everything that we need
Mm-hmm.
within us.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing we need to do is to close our eyes and go inside.
Yes. Yes.
So, when we talk about meditation, and we talk about breathing, we're letting people know this is the starting point.
Yes. Yes.
And then, yeah. And then you talked about visualization.
Yes. Yes. I sit all day, especially since I've created this sanctuary, I call it right now.
Yes.
I just, I'm not working, which I was frustrated about not working, but I come to realize that I don't have to work right now, that I'm not supposed to be working right now. And that every moment that I have that I can spend to spend time with myself and do my meditating and visualizations and all that, um, it works. So what I've been doing is all day, even after I have these meditating sessions with you, Moat, I listen to my recordings. There's so much on YouTube that you can actually guide you through what it is that you need to do. And the more I listen and the more I do my meditations, the more things comes up for me where I'm able to manifest a lot. I'm manifesting money daily right now. One of the things that I wanted to manifest was residual income, and that is showing up, and I'm not even having to do much to do it.
I know, right? It's like, I love you. I don't have to work. We have been so ingrained with working that we forget that income is a frequency.
Yes,
And
yes.
that we have to open to receive. And then we have to put all of the buckets out. You have to open as many buckets as you can. And the only bucket that most people have open is a job.
It's a job.
And so they're limiting themselves.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
was working so hard trying
Mhm.
to get that money, and it's just like that money wouldn't come. It was just dangling in front of me like a carrot, and I'm just like, why? And so with all the chaos that showed up, it just had to shut me down for a minute,
Yeah.
and that was the best thing ever. Whereas I was able to sit down and start thinking about what it is that I really want for myself in my life, and I started meditating on it. I really dived deep into what that is. And I realized that, man, this body of mine and this mind that I have and that's this sexuality that I have, it's my power. And I've begun to use it,
That's
to my
exactly
benefit.
right. Yeah. I'm so glad that you talked about. I was just talking to one of my coaches this morning and about the importance of us owning our female sexuality. She said, "Oh, I got to get a man." And I'm like, "Well, that's
There's
one way of doing it."
yes. And it would be awesome if you could have a partner that actually works that with you, do that with you. Oh my God, that's my ideal. Okay,
But
so
most men are not learning tantra. They're not learning spiritual sexuality. They're still into, you know,
the act of it.
the act of and the performance of, and most of them still ejaculate. They don't even know how to retain their seed and have it come up into their kundalini. So, but one of the things that I did remember, you remember what this is?
Yes, I have a couple of those. I have
Yes. So this
yes.
yoni egg, right? This yoni egg is really, you put it into your cervix, you put it into your yoni, it touches your cervix.
Yes.
But depending on the gem that it is, because we have different gems, I like to use my rose quartz, but it will heal all of the trauma. It will heal so many things. And you can literally use the crystallization of those gems to help to materialize your vision.
Yes. I don't use that one as much, but I have done that, and
Yeah.
yes, it does work. It does work. So, but lots of people are very, resistant to stuff like that. So, yeah,
I know
but it does.
it does work. It doesn't get stuck. It can't go any further. If it does, just get on four knees and laugh or cough. It comes right
And
out.
it actually helps you
Your
to
pelvic flex.
exercise
That's
that
right.
area. Yes.
Yeah, it does. But it's a very, I think it's, as women, childbirth and some of the molestation and other things that we've experienced, we really have to take time to do that womb healing, though, because
Yes.
it
Yes.
will carry on into our later years. I remember having a client, actually, it was the client's grandmother. She asked me to talk to her, and her grandmother was 90 years old,
Mm.
telling a story about being molested by someone. And she ended up having to, because she got pregnant, she had to marry that person.
Oh, wow. That's not a good thing. Yeah.
And she had to, and so the rest of her life, this man was never good to her. She had children with him, but he was always with some, you know, and she cried through that. But man, the piece that after she had never told anybody.
Wow.
She looked years younger. I mean, years younger. And then she just went on out of here. She was like, that's,
Yeah. So many people has a lot of trauma around, in their lives from past situations that have happened.
yes.
Yes, I've gone through a couple of them myself. I mean, I'm not quite sure there's any woman out there we can say wholeheartedly that they have not gone through
That's
some,
right. That's right. Gone
trauma.
through something.
Yes, it might not be as severe as a lot of other women, but and I could say mine was not severe. But if you share the story, people would probably think it is.
Depending
Um,
on what they've gone through. That's right.
yes,
Mhm.
right. And I sometimes wonder how I don't go down those rabbit hole of having anxiety and PTSD and all that stuff around it. And it's only because as a young lady, luckily, we met up at a certain time when we were young, and we
Yeah.
started doing a lot of that work when we
Yeah.
were young. So now that we're at the age that we are, we can actually see where all this comes from, and we can nurture ourselves, and we're good. We're to a point. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes we do go through it, but we are able to pull ourselves up and say, okay, all right, we understand why these things happen, and we know what to do about it, and we can meditate and affirm our way through it.
Well, and you know
There's
what? I think immediately when something happens, first of all, we'll call each other or Minetti or Shalonda or Tia. We'll call somebody. We know that we don't have to go through it by ourselves.
exactly alone.
And
Yeah.
then the other thing we know that regardless to how bad it is or how bad we think it is, we're not going to be judged by it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then we can talk about it. And then next thing you know, we laughing.
I don't think there's anything that I've done that I could say that I can't tell you about this
Right.
because yeah.
And we just laugh, and we because all of a sudden we actually realize what the lesson, and I remember saying, man, I called this into my own video, man. You're like, whoa.
Yes.
And let's keep working.
What did we do to create all this?
What did
You
we
know what I
do
mean?
to create
Yes.
this? Now I remember there was a time back in the day you would not speak to me for about a month.
Because of that.
And you came to me and said, you know
like,
what?
why?
You say,
Why?
You know what I don't like about you is because every time I mention something, you'll say, well, why would you create that for yourself?
I'd have to go away and look at it. And I do. I've always gone and look at it. I've never been the type who just like dismiss it or anything like that.
No, but you come back with an answer, but you be like, oh, And I mean, like, I feel
I
the
can see
same
it,
way when
Boo.
God be telling me that. I'm like, why do I have to apologize? Why do I have to clean that up? They did that to
Oh
me.
my goodness. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes,
And we
yes.
be like, no, I do not want to deal with that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this month we want people meditating. We want people writing down what it is that they want.
Yes.
We want people visualizing. And
Yes.
remember, Mo, we were talking the other day about what it means to put some juice on it.
Yes. I love that part. Yes, that's the best part. Meaning you have to energize it daily, consistently. Have your intention. And once you have that intention, you just go all in. What it would look like, what it would feel like. And every day,
Yes.
twice, three times, four times a day, you just energize it. For
Mm.
me, that what that looks like is I go so into it that it feels good. It's almost
Yeah.
like you would want to, you can I say it, you want to have
Yeah.
an orgasm with it. That's
Yeah.
the feeling you want to
Yeah.
take over. You want to energize it so you feel it from your head down to your toe. That's
Yeah.
how deep you want to go into it.
And the deeper you can go into it, the more energy you have, right? And the easier the manifestation.
Yes.
And that's why when the universe, or when the book of the Bible, which is a roadmap, we know there are plenty of other roadmaps, but that roadmap says wherever two people gather. So that's why it's fast when you have another person. But unfortunately, we're spending all of that magic making babies instead of making empires.
Yes. Yes. So it would be nice to have a partner who works with you on this, where
But
you
if
guys
we
can
don't, we
energize each
now know
other.
we can do it ourselves, though. We can still
Yes. Yes.
energize and use. But we have to remember we can't do that inside of the complaint of I don't have a partner. We're doing that inside of the understanding that we're provided everything that we need. And we can even manifest a partner with that
If
energy.
exactly. Exactly. Once you start doing that on your own and being knowing that you have the power to manifest that on your own, that's when all those things will show up. Because the
Yeah.
universe said, okay, now I can give her a partner because she got it. You know? Yeah.
And that part, because really God does not want us to have somebody more important than our own energy
Exactly.
within.
Hmm.
And that's what we do. We make this person so important. Whatever they say. No, wait, it's what you got to still be listening to the soul. Your soul is still
Hmm.
providing a direction. God is still trying to communicate with you. So you still have to be listening.
Yes.
And most of us go into amnesia when we go into relationships.
Yes. I so know about that.
Exactly. And then, and now, Mo, I also want to stress that the best time to visualize is first thing in the morning when you wake up, and just before you go to sleep at night.
And going to sleep at nights. Yes. So
Mhm.
I've been doing that. And now that I have the time at home to do it during the day, and that's where I put more juice into it. And
Yeah.
so I get into it during the daytime. Sometimes I shut everything down and just go internal, just lay on the couch, lay on the ground, or just do something that you love doing. One of my favorite is to get in the tub
Yes.
and visualize in the tub,
Yes.
just seeing everything flowing towards you in the water. And it's just, let me tell you, I've manifested lots of things
In
doing
the
that.
tub. Yes, that's one of my favorite places too, in the tub. That is a very when I used to teach a lot of project management classes, I used to tell people get your manual and read while you're in the tub because you become so receptive.
Receptive. Yes.
You get almost.
Water is such a powerful receptor. It's just
Yes.
it pulls things to you. Yes.
Yeah.
I've gone to the islands and I lay in the ocean and I would meditate just laying floating. I found myself way out. I was like, oh my goodness. But yes, and that was, I manifested so much during that trip. Parking space, getting into a hotel and getting serviced, and I was not. I just walked right in. Nobody recognized who I was. They just gave me everything I needed.
Yeah.
I just manifested. Yeah.
And you know, it's so interesting, Mood, how many people say, "Oh, you're witches," and it's like, oh yeah, you want to use that, you want to say that so I can stop trusting God's light and power in me. And that's what shut down all of the witches, the Salem, all of that was so
Yes.
that people could shut
Yes.
down their own power. But we have the power within us right now. And we're saying what, 30 days for this month, for the rest of this month. I love how you said you wrote down what you want.
Have your intention.
Have your intention, meditate, do your affirmations, and that keeps our vibration up.
Yes.
Then visualize,
Feel it. Give it the
feel
juice.
juice on it.
Yes.
A t-shirt with some
Be
juice.
excited, so excited about it.
Mm.
And another key is yes, you're going to be challenged in this situation, right? And the challenge is to not have anything detour you from your focus and your goal and your meditation. Yes, you're going to have things showing up, and just just be focused. Go dancing, whenever things start going in your head or things start coming around that it's going to take you out, or you start thinking things that you don't want to be thinking, put some music on, do a video, just go into something that you love to do and keep that energy going. And
I
that's
love
what I
how
do.
you said dance it out, because I love visualizing while I dance. I created a dance meditation years ago where you're just pulling it down. You remember that move?
Yes.
Dance of life. You pulling it down into
We did that
dreams.
any tango.
Yeah,
Used to teach
we
us
did
that.
that in
Yeah.
tango.
Yes.
Exactly.
Or just stop and start breathing and focusing on your breath. Breathing
Yeah.
is the most powerful thing there is. Once you start breathing, everything's just slowed down, and before you know it, you can actually start focusing on what you need to focus on again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great mood. And so now your life, now what you have created, now
I'm
self-love.
excited. I'm excited, and
You're
I want to
glowing. You're so beautiful. You're just
thank you.
glowing. Yes. And
Thank
and
you.
this is because you've added spiritual practices to your daily life and
Yes.
realize that that's what's matter. That's what matters.
Yes. Yeah, I would suggest that, we would start with, there's so much information out there on YouTube. And just get your algorithm in line with what it is your intentions are, and everything will show up. Yesterday, something showed up about women, how powerful women are, and how they should be able to use their kundalini and use their sexual energy. And I was like, remember we used to do this? And before you know it, my whole algorithm was about that, because I got so excited about it. The more
Right.
these equipment, they just pull your energy. And I guarantee if you start thinking about somebody getting shot or all this stuff, that's exactly what you're going to start seeing. So it's the energy, it's the frequency, the vibe. I have that. It's all a vibe. I walk
It's
around
all
and say
a
that,
vibe.
oh, it's just the vibe. It's just the frequency.
And you get to create the one that you want.
Exactly. And as soon as you see something that is not within your frequency, you can literally say, oh, I'm not vibing with that, and create the frequency that you want.
Yeah.
And just go down that road. Yeah.
Wonderful. But Moo, this has been really a great vibe.
I think so. Yes.
Now, if people wanted to get their hair done or their locks done or their
Yes.
whatever done, how did color?
So my what I'm creating now is, and what I'm visualizing is my lock-in business. Yes, I've been a hairstylist for umpteen years, and I've done everything under the sun when it comes to hair. I am a barber stylist. I'm just, I'm just all that, right? And I wish I had known how awesome I was back then, even though, you kind of know it, but we're too much into work,
Yeah.
right? But now, I am in the space of becoming, I am a loctician. You hear how I keep
Yes, because it's just it's a
you have,
manifestation
yeah.
of absolutely.
Yeah, the moments I hear it, it's like I keep it going. I have to
Mhm.
restate it. And I created a mentor, and my mentor she showed up a year ago, and I didn't even know who she was at the time. And I even know I was going down that path at the time, but
Right.
now, yeah, and she's amazing. Shalonda, of course,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Shalonda. And yes, that's who I'm becoming now. That's who I am now. I'm a loctician. I'm an amazing loctician. And do you hear how I said it, right? And I'm going to be
Yes.
making lots of money. I am making lots of money, and yeah. And I'm creating it right now. I'm
That's
creating
right.
that.
In the beauty and care that I am blessed that I've only had my dearest friends from Vanessa in high school to you, and then
Yes.
Shalonda. I've only had, so the energy of someone on your head is so important.
Important.
So that, I'm grateful that you're doing that,
Yes.
because you can really, I think beauticians, barbers, and it's another one, you guys touch so many people's lives.
Massage therapists.
That you can actually support their ascension just right
Yes.
in that
Yes.
time period that you're with them. So,
Yes.
it's a form of
I remember I
ministry.
used to touch, I would have clients come in, and they're just totally out. They're just totally aggravated, upset, just their whole life. They're crying constantly. And by the time I'm done with them, they're walking out smiling,
Yes.
excited. But I did not know that I'm able to pull that energy from them.
But not keep it on yourself.
Right. So I had to learn how to not keep
Yeah.
that, because I used to be able to, like, I'm the one who was upset after they leave.
Right.
I'm like, what is that about? So I had to really dig deep to find out what that was.
That's right.
And that was my breathing. So while I'm working with these types of people, I had to breathe through it.
Release.
Yes, release. So yes, it's a lot to this business, Yeah. It's a lot to this business.
Well, I just want to thank you for making your time available for us to have this conversation. And we just wanted to remind our sister queens that you have everything that you require. You're not missing anything.
No.
Manifest it and bring it all to you. What's your last words, Mu?
My last words is, we are powerful women, and we can ascend. And we know we have everything that we need for ascension. So we just need to just pull on that.
We need to pull on that. And, I love how you say we need to pull on that, because it's not going to come to us just because we say. We have to really bring it in.
Bring it in.
Yeah, we have to bring it in. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Moot. I'll see you.
You are welcome. It was amazing. I love you all. And women, it's a woman week. It's a woman month. Yes.
Yes, we're doing love. Yeah. And then for the female solution, thank you for this platform as always. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Leaders of nonprofits empowering worlds. Let's go.
But the vision that God gave me, I felt that it was time for me to step out and work on the vision that God gave me.
We need look no further. We have a unique voice. We have a unique talent pool.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.